the bantam planet Pluto, arranged at the farthest reaches of our planetary group, is wrapped by a huge number of cold divine bodies and space rocks. Inside the CR belt, a huge locale of space past Neptune, once worshipped as the 10th planet. Pluto gets its name from the Roman lord of the hidden world anyway. In a significant second in galactic history, in 26, Pluto was formally downsized from its planetary status, mirroring the advancing comprehension of our grandiose area. Our current appreciation of the nearby planet group depicts an embroidery of divine elements, various space rocks, a select gathering of bantam planets, and count of just 8 old-style planets, all through the creatures of human interest spreading over hundreds of years of cosmic perception. Furthermore, investigation how we might interpret these infinite bodies has thrived. Altogether, we've acquired experiences into their syntheses, ways of behaving, and potential tenability composition, a more nuanced image of our vast environmental factors. Yet, in the midst of our developing information, the magmatic appeal of our own world keeps on enticing investigation. Furthermore, revelation, the James Webb Space Telescope, a zenith of present-day cosmic innovation, stands ready to unwind a portion of these waiting secrets, including those encompassing Pluto. Notwithstanding its diminutive of size and capricious circle, Pluto held an extraordinary place in the hearts of numerous for quite a long time, bragging the differentiation being the littlest moon-bearing item in our planetary group. Pluto's renaming lighted an intense reaction from the public, highlighting the profound connection individuals felt toward this far-off divine body anyway. Logical thoroughness directed that for an object to legitimacy planetary status, it must stick to 3 key models circling the Sun, having adequate mass to expect an almost round shape under its own gravity, and its orbital to clear way of trash models that Pluto, with its light orbital way, eventually fizzled. To meet the term planet has gone through a intriguing advancement throughout the span of galactic history. At first, it included any substant heavenly body seen in the sky, including moons. Furthermore, space rocks. Pluto's disclosure in 1930 by American space expert Clyde Toomer mixed worldwide energy, just to be followed by disclosures of likewise measured objects inside its area, stirring up misgivings about its planetary height. In the midst of the following discussion, teacher Mike Earthy Colort's momentous disclosure of eyes, a Kuiper belt object similar in size to Pluto, further muddied the waters, testing the customary definition of a planet. This incited a powerful talk inside the cosmic local area, eventually prompting Pluto's renaming as a bantam planet. During the Global Cosmic Association gathering in Prague in 2006, along these lines, Pluto's progress from planetary unmistakable quality to bantam planet assignment fills in as a piercing sign of the dynamic nature of logical understanding and the ceaseless mission for clearness in the midst of the tremendous scope of the universe. It highlights the multifaceted transaction between perception, hypothesis, and agreement fabricating that characterizes the quest for information in space science. Later, broad conversation, a reconsidered meaning of a planet, was proposed and put to a vote during the August gathering of the Worldwide Cosmic Association. The eye is the definitive body, answerable for naming divine items. Furthermore, characterizing galactic terms in this meeting, established researchers wrestled with the need to explain the characterization of heavenly bodies, especially those in the external ranges of our nearby planet group. Following consultations, bantam planet status was presented upon both Pluto and Eyes. This choice was huge, as it denoted a takeoff from the customary comprehension of what is a planet and mirrored a more nuanced comprehension of divine elements. Aries recently known as the 23 of 3113, was renamed after the Greek goddess of conflict, mirroring the discussion and discusses encompassing its arrangement. Mike Brown, a planetary researcher at Caltech whose work added to the renaming of Pluto, acquired boundless acknowledgement for his job in the cycle as an energetic gesture to his association. Brown acquired the loving moniker at Pluto Executioner on Twitter. The updated grouping incited the quick proliferation and refreshing of instructive materials, counting banners and course books to mirror the new comprehension of Pluto. What's more, eyes as bantam planets anyway. Not all individuals from mainstream researchers promptly embraced the IO's meaning of a planet. A few planetary researchers, especially those with an emphasis on Pluto, also comparative items, communicated doubts about the new grouping. Measures this difference of assessment ignited continuous discussions inside the field of cosmology in regards to the exact models for grouping divine bodies. Researchers like me and others added to these discussions through scholarly papers that analyzed verifiable points of reference in logical writing. They contended against the eyes meaning of a planet, referring to models. For example, Ceres, which was at first delegated a planet upon its disclosure in Wendy 8001, yet later renamed as a space rock as more objects were found in the space rock belt. The discussion over the meaning of a planet reached out past logical circles and into more extensive cultural conversations. It brought up issues about the idea of logical grouping. What's more, the ramifications of reclassifying well-established galactic terms. Some communicated worries that a limited meaning of a planet could restrict our comprehension of the variety of heavenly items in the universe. In spite of these discussions, logical investigation proceeded unabated. In 2015, NASA's new Skyline space apparatus directed a notable flyby of Pluto, giving extraordinary bits of knowledge into this far-off world. The mission uncovered a dynamic, angiologically dynamic planetoid with elements like nitrogen bluffs and a conspicuous heart-molded locale, spellbinding the public's creative mind. As we ponder these improvements, it turns out to be evident that how we might interpret the nearby planet group and its constituent bodies keeps on developing. The renaming of Pluto and eyes as bantam planets addresses an achievement in our continuous investigation of the universe, highlighting the intricacy and variety of world past Earth as new skylines traveled through space at an surprising velocity of 32,300 miles per hour. It given a one-of-a-kind chance to catch definite pictures of Pluto's close side during its nearest approach anyway, due to the arrangement of the shuttle and the place of the Sun. The most distant side of Pluto, frequently alluded to as the clouded side, stayed stowed away from view during the flyby. All things considered, researchers fastidiously dissected pictures taken by the rocket days before its experience
to acquire bits of knowledge into this baffling area, notwithstanding the difficulties presented by the restricted goal of these pictures. They offered a phenomenal degree of detail, permitting researchers to discern surface elements down to around 1 mile across. This degree of lucidity far surpassed past perceptions, including those from the Hubble Space Telescope, which circles Earth. The investigation of these pictures has yielded new viewpoints on Pluto's dynamic nature. Researchers are presently diving into the scene to disentangle secrets like the potential presence of a sea underneath the cold surface and the components driving surface cycles. Some captivating discoveries even indicate the chance of Pluto's brutal climate supporting microbial life anyway. Close by these new disclosures come new secrets. As of late found ice developments looking like high rises circle Pluto's far side, their starting points covered in uncertainty. Richard Beinel, a planetary researcher engaged with the New Skylines mission, aptly portrays Pluto as the gift that continues to give as it proceeds to shock analysts with its intricacy. Before the New Skylines' central goal, the most itemized pictures of Pluto came from the Hubble Space Telescope, uncovering a world with unmistakable surface elements. Anyway, it was the New Skyline space apparatus that gave the first close-up perspectives on Pluto's territory, counting the notorious heart-formed highlight and the tremendous frozen bowl known as Sputnik Planisher. The revelation of Sputnik Planisher, impossible to miss arrangement with Pluto's biggest moon Chan, raised charming inquiries regarding its arrangement. A few researchers estimate that the bowl's creation might have involved a underground sea ascending to the surface, causing critical gravitational movements. Additional proof supporting the presence of a subsurface sea comes from the turbulent territory on Pluto's far side. This interwoven of slopes, fishes, and fields bears likeness to highlights seen on other divine bodies where subsurface seas are thought, while the goal of pictures from Pluto's far side remaining parts restricted. Researchers anxiously expect future missions for closer assessment, the disclosure of breaks. What's more, other geographical inconsistencies fuel hypothesis about Pluto's initial history. Also, the possible job of its subsurface sea in molding its surface. These discoveries challenge how we might interpret planetary development and feature the dynamic nature of far-off universes like Pluto. As New Skylines proceeded with its venture, researchers estimated about the destiny of Pluto's rough center. Ultimately, radioactive rot inside the center would have produced adequate intensity to melt the encompassing ice. This cycle would have made the ice contract as it softened, prompting surface waves, much the same as the wrinkling of an apple put away in a cooler. On the off chance that this situation happened, Pluto's surface ought to show indications of wrinkling and breaking in later photos. Anyway, when New Skylines caught pictures of Pluto's far side, it principally uncovered fishes as opposed to far-reaching wrinkling. These fishes proposed that Pluto's sea, once fluid, had to some degree frozen after some time, eminently a gigantic break running the length of the close to side, folding over the whole planet from one shaft to another. Residential looked like Earth's East African break framework. This break, likely a consequence of the freezing and development of the sea, demonstrated the sea's fast cooling upon openness to the cold surface. The age of the Fuhrer shown that the sea started cooling quickly after coming to the surface, possibly cultivating conditions helpful for marine life. Moreover, the blood-red shade of the water, characteristic of natural atoms, indicated at the presence of complicated natural matter. Lab tests have shown the way that such particles would be able structure through radiation like sun-powered wind or enormous beams, recommending conceivable situation for their reality on Pluto. Besides the identification of smelling salts, bound ice on Pluto's close to side upholds the thought that the midget planet might hold onto rich natural mixtures. While this doesn't infer the beginning of life on Pluto, it recommends the potential for life to make do if conditions were great. Estimations from Pluto's far side have not just supported the quest forever, yet have additionally prompted the revelation of charming land elements, for example, ice lumps, looking like high rises. These edges dispersed equitably and rising pointedly out of sight present a significant secret. Otherworldly estimations demonstrate that they are made out of methane ice framing a belt around the equator anyway there. Beginning remaining parts dubious with speculations, going from barometrical hardening to disintegration by extreme daylight. Grasping Pluto's frosty sections and territory requires a profound investigation of its environment. Specialists are refining environment models to more readily reenact noticed peculiarities and expect to reproduce Pluto's environment and sea conditions in lab settings while the James Webb Space Telescope can't catch high-resolution pictures of Pluto. Its longer frequencies make it almost certain to uncover startling revelations. As we keep on disentangling Pluto's secrets, we set out on an excursion symbolic of mankind's unquenchable mission for information and the unique development of how we might interpret the universe through continuous examination and investigation. We inch nearer to responding to progress in years-old inquiries about our spot in the universe.